meeting, our regular meeting for the Page County School Board for Thursday, January 22nd.
Mr. Overbaugh.
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Bryant. Mr.
Yes. Thank you. Have a moment of silence. Okay, well, I'm going to read something before we do our pledge of allegiance. Christian Sigler, who lead us in that, grade 12. Christian is a senior completing his second year in the welding program at PCPS. He exemplifies the very best qualities of a PCPS student and serves as a role model of the welding program. Christian demonstrates a strong commitment to mastering his trade while consistently volunteering his time and efforts to support the program's success and ensure its continued strength for future welding students. Often described as having an old soul, Christian possesses a level of maturity and character well beyond his years. He is respectful, kind, and selfless, always willing to put others before himself. His positive presence leaves a lasting impression on both students and staff, and he never fails to bring a smile as he arrives and departs campus, often in one of his many vintage vehicles. So I'm going to stand in that, please.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we have information, any agenda changes or additions?
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as written.
Okay,
Second motion.
have approval. Overfelt, second by Mr. Crawford.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yeah.
Mr. Overbaugh.
Yes.
Mr. Bryant.
Yes.
Make a motion that management discussion place of section 3.01 action roll call vote. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
That's a motion by Ms. Bryant to approve the discussion in closed session, and second by Ms. Overfelt.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Mr. Overbaugh.
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mr. Bryant. Yes. Mr.
Yes. No citizen comments? Okay. So we have consent agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Ms. Overfelt and second by Ms. Bryant.
Mr. Overbaugh.
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Ms. Bryant. Yes. Mr. Bryant.
Yes. Okay, our recognition and presentations, Midway High School.
Good evening, Board. We are here tonight to recognize our model students. I was asked to clarify that the information you were provided today is provided by our principals as you read that. So this time you can begin with Luray High School. She's here. Come on up, Amy.
There.
She's hiding.
So, you ready? Okay. So we are proud to recognize Ainsley Cooper to represent the student body of Luray High School. She's a true role model for her peers. She consistently demonstrates the qualities that make her an outstanding leader and representative. Her positive attitude is infectious, inspiring those around her to approach challenges with optimism and determination. She is actively involved in clubs and other activities throughout the school, showing her commitment to the Luray High School community. What sets her apart is her ability to be independent while remaining caring toward others, always ensuring that every voice is heard and valued. Her responsible nature and resilient spirit help her navigate both successes and setbacks with grace. Additionally, her wonderful sense of humor, you get a smile here, brings lightness and joy to even the most serious situations, helping to create an inclusive and welcome environment for all students. She truly embodies the values and spirit of Luray High School, making her an ideal choice to represent our student body. Well done.
Thank you.
Page County High School.
Bailey Gwynn. She works well in groups and helps to keep them on task. She points out things that she understands and listens to, learns from peers when she doesn't. She asks clarifying questions to make sure she gets it. If the whole group was stumped, she was often the one to approach and seek clarification. While I suspect she disagreed with the theory of evolution as the origin of the diversity of life on Earth, she learned the material well and marveled at facts which were new to her. She was able to understand and entertain an idea that was maybe contrary to her previously held beliefs, even though she may have disagreed with the conclusion. This is the mark of a mature mind. Furthermore, she didn't get discouraged when she scored poorly on the assessment. She sought out where she went wrong, why and how she went wrong, and what the correct answer should be. And not only what the right answers were, but why they were right answers. This is a sign of real learning. Bailey went from a lukewarm student to somebody noticeably driven to academic success in my class over the course of the first semester. By the end of the course, she was working at home over the break and during evenings to increase her understanding of the material in order to pass the SOL. She voluntarily came for lunch remediation frequently 2 to 3 times a week to raise her grade and to study. Despite being self-professed poor test taker, she met the challenge head on and did very well on our SOL. Many students can shut down when a challenge seems overwhelming, but for her, Bailey, she used her anxiety as a motivator to work even harder. I'm impressed with her attitude, work ethic, and overall success in class. She was a model student, and I'm very proud of her growth. I think it is a testament to her character.
We were in middle school. High school. No, it's not. Okay. And it says in your Page County Technical Model Student Christian Ziegler, is he doing it twice?
He's got it.
Really? Wow.
Hey,
Okay.
Jeez.
Can we go ahead and read Melody's, even though she's not here?
So we'll do Christians and then let you read now.
All right.
Okay.
Christian, what I have before me has already been read. So
Oh.
I think that we just need to reinforce that you are kind and it is something and that it is quite an honor to be said that you are always willing to others but these are
Very big statements. And thank you. Thank you for being who you are.
Thank you.
Cool goatee too, buddy.
Hey,
Go ahead, read yours.
I'll just say a few words about Melody, who's not here. Melody is a helper, a leader, and always considerate of others. She exemplifies many character traits that make her an amazing example for her peers. She's always smiling and is willing to jump in whenever possible.
All right.
All right, informational part of the agenda. Yeah, students can be, whoever wants to leave, they can.
Thank you all very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. So on our informational items, Page County Technical Center presentation.
Good evening. How are you all?
Good.
We are, I'm Leanne Pettit. For those of you who don't know, I know we have some new board members. So I'm Leanne Pettit. I'm the principal of Page County Technical Center, and this is,
I'm Tommy Pitts. I'm the CT supervisor for the county. And I'm terrible at standing at a microphone, so I'll try my best.
yeah, we both may move.
No, that's not true.
We both may move. So we are excited to talk about Page County Technical Center, but Tommy and I, and just our personalities, we're teachers first, that never dies. So we would like to do a game, and we have prizes. We did this last year, and it was a big hit. So some of you all may be repeat winners.
Who wants to be a PCPC Eagle tonight? We had some new board members. We had some veteran board members. And you all can win these fabulous prizes.
Uh-oh.
Pettit is holding up, kind of. All right, a sticker. We have a couple backpacks. PCPC.
Hey.
All right. See, I'm terrible. I'll go back to the microphone. All right, go ahead, Blake. Maybe. Sorry, Linda. All right, so, how many students, this is for any board member, how many students participated in company signings during last year's PCTC signing day? It's a special event. Yeah, you can raise your hand. It's a special event that we have that we're going to talk about. 8, 12, 14.
And Mr. Overcutt was first.
I'm gonna say 12.
12.
Is that correct?
Hmm?
Would you like to phone a friend?
Phone a friend.
Or choose a different answer? Phone a friend?
So we
The first winner, would you like the backpack? Would you like a speaker? Or would you like a welding t-shirt?
Oh, I want a welding t-shirt.
There we go. There we go. So yes, we had 14. We'll talk about the event later in our presentation. But 14 students at the signing day. Question 2. Second chance. Win a prize. What is the top career and technical education (CTE) trade course that PCPS 6 to 12th graders would like to see added to our programs?
Carpentry.
See,
Currently, we have intro to culinary, but the kids would like to expand that a little bit further to an actual full culinary program. All right. And last chance. How many credentials did PCTC students earn in the 24-25 school year? Oh.
209.
209. Touchdown.
I'll take grade.
Start. Or you start.
All right. Well done. Well done, you all. Yes, when you
Thank
think
you.
209, and Mr. Pitts will talk about that a little bit later, and tell you about our success in the, in our credentials. But first, when we talk about instructional highlights, one thing that's going to it's woven throughout our presentation is our hands-on learning. Hands-on learning is like the heartbeat of the program at the Technical Center. And, whether it's like conduit bending that you see with our teacher, they're testing a car part there, as well as like hair color. And if you go to the next slide, even with welding, and we'll talk about this a little more later, but with projects they've had from the outside, this was actually a derby car that I don't know if you all can see. This was actually a derby car that they had welded, it passed inspection and went in the derby. And then you can see our practical nursing 2 students at the family birthplace at RMH. So that is the heartbeat of what we do. Practical learning meets our theory and the book part, and that's going to lead to our success in our credentials that Mr. Pitts will talk about next.
So we talked about, our students earned 209 credentials last year. Here's our pass rate that we had on each credential. Now, what you see on this first slide, these are called ASE credentials, automotive service examinations. So they're for our automotive program. And you can earn up to 10 credentials in ASE right here. So you see our pass rates. We had 10 kids in this class. So we had 80. So we had 8 kids pass, 9, 9, 8, and 7 here. Okay. So they can earn multiple. If you go to the next slide, you'll see the same here. These are still ASEs, 9, 9, 9, all 10, all 10. All total, we had in that out of those 10 people, everybody earned at least 4 credentials to go forward into the workplace with. So we had very good results in one month. All right, let's go to the next slide. Cosmetology. So this is the state cosmetology exam. So it's recognized. As soon as when you get this, you can go out and you're legally licensed to go out and do hair. So Rosalie, Ms. Cook is our teacher there, did a great job. 100% pass rate. She was 6 for 6. Medical assistant. This is Miss Darlene Pettit. She gives the certified medical assistant exam. She was 100% as well, 7 for 7. And you'll know that we're 100%. State average is all the way down to 62%. But she blew it out of the water. Nurse aid, certified nurse aid examination, similar results, 100% pass rate. She had 8 kids, so we're right there. 90 is the state average. And then practical nursing, they take the NCLEX. And again, once they have that, they can go out and they're a licensed practical nurse at that point. 100% there, 6%. I think we got one more slide of credentials. All right, so our electricity. Electricity is probably our most popular course. We're hitting at 100% for both their core credential and their level 1 credential. We have 21 in the course. We're 18 for 18 so far, and there's 3 that have till the end of the year to finish up their credentials. So we feel pretty good about that. Of course, our instructors are working within part. Welding, same result. He's actually already got all 12 of his year 2 students through welding core and welding level 1. So they have those certifications. That's Mr. Morris, and he does other certifications too, some plate and some pipe certifications. So they come out of those programs with a lot of good credentials for their careers. All right, and I lied. One more. All right, OSHA exams. So our welding and electricity classes take this. We have 43 kids that earned their general construction out of 43. We have 31 that have earned general industry. And again, the 12 others still have till the end of the year.
And what's cool about that is that once they have those credentials, I mean, they're a card-carrying member for life, like you have OSHA, and then you have it. Our instructors did decide to go construction and general industry so that they had both, because we found when they were going into the workforce that there were, employer wanted one and not the other, so we made sure that they had a package deal when they left. So it builds upon, and we even had one student that went on and got their OSHA 30, which was a supervisor level last year.
It's just a testament to the teachers, because all those numbers are unbelievably high. So
Yeah.
Great job for staff, teachers that have PCPS.
Absolutely, that we have at PCPC. But so the classroom to partnerships, this was something that when Mr. Pitts and I were kind of talking about what we wanted to highlight for our school, Mr. Pitts said, hey, we've got a lot of great partnerships that's going on, and it would be great for everyone to know, because sometimes you just don't know. Like you show up at like our signing day, but that shows that they're getting a job. That doesn't show what they're kind of doing behind the scenes to help us out. So these are just a handful of the ones that we partnership with. If you go to the next slide, kind of showing you how those partnerships work out, and kind of like what's the practical example of what that partnership looked like. One partnership this year was for the Fair Association, and so for the Tourism Council, they wanted to host a chili cook-off at the Heritage Festival, but they needed a place to plug in a bunch of electrical items. So they tasked our electricity instructors with, hey, how could you help us out? And they did this temporary power stand that you can see has lots of that. And, you even have Miss Bryant's son in there. Do you pick him out? Can you see him in the
Of
middle
course
there?
I did.
So if we go to the next slide, this partnership is another thing that electricity did to help out the Luray Police Department. Luray Police Department needed their tower and their scene light fixed, and they upgraded it to LED lights. So that's something that they helped out the local police force. You go to the next slide. In that slide, just something that welding does a lot, and this is for dry run farms when they did the handrails, but they've done that for multiple farms. I mean, we would have a whole slide on just different farms that they've helped out, but this is an example of something that welding has done to help out. And if we go to the next slide, this is another partnership that was new to us last year. I cannot say enough about the Shenandoah BFW. I know that they are not employing our students, but the VFW, Luray Moose, even the Eagles in Newmarket, they have been wonderful to our students and dedicated to really like enriching our programs. And this example with the Shenandoah VFW, they ask us kind of, Mr. Morris, I will give credit to Charlie Morris, our welding instructor. He is boots on the ground trying to go out and getting people to donate to the welding program. And then it just helps our entire school because the VFW is like, we won't just help welding. Tell us what you need. So we manufactured flag planters for them for, the graves and burial sites of different veterans. But then they donated back, and you can see there they have given us welding helmets to our future welders. They also did like an exhaust fan that's in our welding shop. Another thing they just recently did, because they said they would help anyone, was electricity needed it would be super beneficial if they would have had an industrial conduit vendor that cost $3,800 on sale, and they bought that. So they just recently approved that in their last meeting. So that's been a huge partnership for us. And the next slide is Mr. Pitts will talk about just how we engage with the school and the community.
Yeah, so research says that we have to get out, we have to tell kids about jobs, make them career aware. And so we make it part of our purpose to go out and make sure that students know what's available to them, both in county and out. Starting the first week of February, we'll go and we'll present to all the 10th graders in both high schools about Page County Technical Center. Let them know what's available to them. We'll speak about all the programs there, but we'll also speak about work-based learning. Kids, so that the kids know. After that, they'll sign up for the classes that they want. Any student that signs up for a PCTC class then must go to something we call a day in the life of a PCTC student. That is March 23rd this year, and I'll send out dates so that everybody knows when these are. But basically what happens is any 10th grader that signs up that they want to come to the technical center, they come that day. It's an hour-and-a-half presentation. Ms. Pettit and I present for a couple minutes, but then they go out to their classrooms, whatever they signed up for, and they get a real mini lesson from their teachers, both in the classroom and in the lab. What that does is it allows students to see, we're not just signing up for auto tech and we're going to go, mess around in the lab there. It lets them see that there's a theory part of this, that there is bookwork for doing this. Okay? I'm a person that likes surprises. We don't want to surprise kids with stuff like this. If they did, oh my gosh, I didn't know that it was going to be this much work. We want to be upfront. Right? And then they'll spend 45 minutes in the classroom, and then 45 minutes in the lab doing a real lesson in the lab. So we require them to do that. If they're still interested in signing up for PCPC, then we let them sign up and we see, where our numbers fall. If they come all right. We know that we have to get in, and we've got to get students young so that they understand what's available to them. February 27th, is the 7th grade students. They'll come to the tech center, and they will go through every lab that we have there. So we have 6 labs. They'll spend 10 minutes in each lab so that they get that experience, so that they know, this is what welding is like. This is what cosmetology is like. And yes, when they go into cosmetology, all the guys are, doing the hair and all that stuff. Rosalie's. The other big event that we have is our 5th grade expo. That's going to be April 17th. And that is, again, we're starting young. At this expo, it's really cool. We have what we call speed tables, think speed dating. But we have tables for every CTE course that we have in the district. That's not just PCTC CTE courses, but that is Page and Luray High School CTE courses. And the students, every 5th grader in the district, rotates to every table for 5 minutes to be shown what all these programs are. Again, we don't like surprises. We want kids to know what's available to them. Starting young is a good thing. Okay? So they do that, and then they also get to pick one lab at the tech center that they want to spend a mini lesson in for 25 minutes, so they get a big experience there as well. Of course, this is important because starting in middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, students are developing their career plans. so we give them a little bit more direction. So, all right, go ahead.
Can I
This is your name. Go ahead.
just go back? And that's one of the fifth grade expo is one of my favorite times over there.
Yeah.
But the thing that I wanted to point out was that the students are doing the instruction.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. So the welding students, the one RPCTC students are the teachers on these days. They are instructing the fifth grade students as they come up. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, we would love to have you. I mean, several of you all have been to that, and so when we send out the dates and share those with you all, we'd love to have you to come see that because it is really cool to see our students helping the younger students.
All right. Not sure.
I could do it. The other way that we try to engage with our school and even the community, because I know parents, just like today, parents are so proud, and I think of seeing the students and what they do. And I love seeing that too, because I feel like in our world, it seems like we always hear the bad, and like that's the static, that's the noise, and we don't often hear the good. So our students, a couple of years ago, we decided that we were going to do something called Eagle of the Month. That's our mascot. So we want to do Eagle of the Month award. You can see Christian right there. He was, and he was here earlier. We have that each month. And then we also have a school-wide barbecue. You are also welcome to that. That is the end of the year great event that is super tasty. Our welding always does a smoker that they raffle off, and the deal was that it first started out with Timmy Williams. He wanted a smoker, and the deal was, and this is how it got started, that they said, okay, we will build you a smoker. He donated the stuff. We'll build you a smoker, but we need to, we need to get first dibs on using it and kind of fashion it in for you. So they did that, and that kind of started this annual thing that the welding hosted. They cook off the meat, and then we provide stuff, and it's just a school-wide event for all students at our school. And then signing day has just been a popular event since we started that back. I don't know, it's my 9th year at PCTC, so I think that's probably 8 years. I think maybe the first year that I was there, we didn't have it. But then the idea was pitched to us, and it's just grown ever since. And that's super cool because for those of you all who have never been to it, it's exactly like an athletic signing when a student gets an athletic scholarship, but instead they are getting, their career is starting, and that's the employer that comes and signs them on that day. So that's a super cool event. And then the other thing we wanted to kind of wrap up with is just to let you all know kind of what's on the horizon for us and some future projects that we're doing that still continue that theme of partnerships. Would be the Stanley Little League concession stand. I mean, people often reach out to us and our instructors and say, hey, could you do this? Could you do that? Some projects are too big, and sometimes people want us to rewire a whole home. We can't do that, obviously. I mean, our students are learning, but some of these smaller projects like this, where electrical update, they're going to update everything within the Stanley Little League concession stand, and our year 2 students in electricity can do that. And then the Page Public Library, they need us to retrofit or ask that we retrofit the old lights to LED lights. So that's on the horizon for us to do that. And then the Fair Association has also asked that in the livestock showing a barn, if we could go in and help with again, retrofitting the LED lights. And so that's something else that we are going to do. And I don't even mention things like our cosmetology that goes out during teacher appreciation. It does stuff for Page Middle's annual was a big in getting that started. And our girls love doing that, our students. So there are just some future projects. So if there's things out there that community members ask you that they propose a need to you all, we will be glad and happy to put them in contact with our instructors. So that is it. Do you all have any questions for us?
I
Yes,
do.
sir.
How many students, on an average, per year group, I guess? How many students are involved in the program at PCTC?
Do you mean how many, like, in our enrollment? Like,
Right.
typically do we have? We
Yeah.
typically have anywhere from, it can range from about 150, I would say, is usually where we are as far as our morning and our afternoon. So most of our classes, like when we have what we talk about the application, it's certain number that we can't go over. Most people think that's 20 because that's state law is that you can't have more than 20 students in a CT like lab class. But like in welding, we have 15 spots for that. In cosmetology, we have 16 enough our room, like our space. We have enough for that. So we max out oftentimes, and then we have wait lists. So for those of you all that aren't aware of that, when students apply, we do have parameters in which if we have more students apply than we have spots for, then there is a process by which students get offered, the spot. And then there's students that are on the wait list. And that is new for our community because before, if you wanted to take a tech center class, you just were going to get to take a tech center class. But sometimes our programs like electricity, welding, cosmetology was full this year. So some of them can be full.
So the exact number for our welding or our second level courses, so mainly seniors.
Right.
If everybody passes, we'll have exactly 75 this year for the second level course. Last year, I think we graduated 65. So in those,
Now, the class sizes are restricted.
They are. And like I say, mostly that is on like space and size. Like we only have 15 welding booths, so we can't have 20 in there. Like I can't imagine having 20 torches going at the same time with one instructor anyway. But yes, sir, it's size sometimes. And if you are able to come out and go to that, like, you know, we're actually having, in February, we're having business after hours for the chamber, and we're going to give tours of that too. That's probably our first event. That's February the 13th. Maybe we'll check on that date. But that's our first event. Then thereafter, we have other events, or you can stop by anytime. We can show you around.
I would like to talk to you on the side of an idea I have.
Yes, sir. We'd love to hear it.
Thank you.
The question I have is, do you have any out-of-district or homeschool students enrolled?
So it's funny because Ms. Clark and I just talked about homeschool students, no. But we do have out of district, well, it's twofold in that. So in our practical nursing, because that's adults, sometimes we do take out of county. Like we have someone that travels from Strasburg every day because the programs either are full or they're too expensive in other places. So that's probably 3, I would say, in practical nursing. But then in our other courses, if there is room, Mount Carmel students and Bible Holiness Christian Academy, they do apply. And if we have room, then those spots are offered to them. And then that they would come in, you know, they would go to whatever would be their home high school, and they would register there simply because they could be in Power School for our grading system. Yeah.
How many students that are from others, like Bible Holiness or Mount Carmel, if you've had to run through that, go through that?
You mean like per year? What is it
Yeah.
about? I mean, it's like this year it is 3, and other years it's been up to 5.
Okay.
Like, you know, really not over 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had maybe, and mostly it's electricity and cosmetology. We've had one in medical assistant and one in welding. So yeah.
Do they pay tuition or?
Because they come on our books for like kind of as a part-time student, so to speak. I don't know if that's probably not the best way to say it, but they have to be on our, that's the thing. They kind of become a part-time student for us. So, you know, they count in our ADM. Somebody else might be able to answer that question a bit better than me.
Yeah, so then through the state funding process, when we do our March 31st counts, they count a partial.
Help us get
anyway.
one.
Right. Now, our adult students do pay tuition, and currently it is $3,000 if you're in county and $3,500 if you're out of county per year. Which for cosmetology, for example, is much cheaper than $20,000 that Stanton Beauty School. I mean, you know, obviously people have to run schools. I'm not trying to, you know, say anything disparaging about them, but you know, we are definitely more affordable.
You know, the trades are super important these days, and we're seeing more and more of the folks that are deciding not to go to 4-year liberal universities because they come out and can't find a job, where they can go to the trade schools and they got work immediately. I mean, so it looks to me, and I think we've seen this before, that if we had more capacity at the center, we could put out a lot more students.
Yeah, we talked about this in our foundation meeting that at length the last time that you know, we don't have a whole lot of room at the tech center to expand. The inn is full. I say that all the time,
Right.
and Tommy and I talk about that. That right now, even if we wanted to put another program there, we couldn't put another program there because we don't have the room. Like every lab, every classroom is accounted for. You know, now the land that's kind of adjacent to us, where they were considering building the recreation center, that's county land, but that we would have to expand that way if we were going to expand, because really we can't really expand towards the road.
Sure be a good idea, wouldn't it?
It would be great. I mean, we do have the interest. We have students, you know, for example, just as a point of information for you all, you know, sometimes classes just don't fit. Sometimes that students take classes and we get to semester and they just say, hey, I've just figured out this is not for me. And I had a student, 2 students that just recently changed their mind about electricity, and one said he would love to have something in criminal justice. The other one said he would love to have something in computer science and IT. I mean, we get that all the time, and so I wish we did. And that's what I said to them. Well, hold tight, maybe it's coming, but so I wish we did have more room and more offerings, because I think that would be the best direction for our county. And I think we then could also offer evening classes for the adults in our community. It could be really robust at the tech center, but we need the space, and we need the green light to expand, and we're working on that.
That adult education idea is, that's a good concept, especially for Paige.
Has there been any interest, I know you got to electrical, but is there any interest in plumbing?
We had very little interest in plumbing, because I think the students really just think it deals with sewage and toilets. I mean, to be honest. But we tried that. But HVAC, when we kind of floated HVAC, heavy equipment, and plumbing, HVAC we got a program off the ground in conjunction with Laurel Ridge. But I think we would have to do some education on plumbing and what that is all about, particularly new construction, and we might get some interest in that.
Yeah, we did surveys 2 years in a row. I think one year we had 3 students that said, yeah, we love plumbing. The next year we had 2 students.
I know they're expensive, so they can
Yes.
get money. So,
I think the tech center is fabulous, and as you said, I have a son there now, and we have talked about conduit bending and other things that I don't know, but I'm very interested to just listen to. So he's taught me some things that. So thank you guys. It does sound like a little family there too. He was very excited at Christmas time. I think there was some extra stuff left over from the nursing, and they shared their Christmas treats. So just good stuff happening there. I'd love to see it grow. Thank you for what you're doing, and it's a good spot. It's a very good spot, and visit if you haven't been. It's very interesting, and it's time consuming. I work in a trade, so when you are putting people, training them individually, it's a lot of heavy focus. It's a lot of monitoring, so it would be great to see it grow. So then they could take on more students at a time. But until you have the space, and of course you're going to need the teachers to come in and do that. But it's a great thing for our community, and I'm glad we have it.
It's kind of a badge of pride for us, because we have a lot of companies that had it flashed up there earlier. They come specifically, they're located in other counties, so they have access to a lot of other students. They come to PCPS to get our students. So again, great staff there, great students.
And I know somebody on a neighboring school board, and when she and I was talking, she was talking about our tech center. So, yeah, keep it up.
I have a question for you, Dr. Johnson. Is it in this CIP plan
Facility study.
to give more classes in labs?
It is. I was at the meeting, the Tech Foundation meeting last week, and so yes, we've had conversation. We toured Mr. Painter and Bucky Thomason, the chairman of the Board of Supervisors, and we toured the Tech Center 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, and we talked very much about all of this, as well as making sure that the Tech Center is in the facility study. Do we add on that plot of land, or does another facility somewhere nearby avail itself with a culinary kitchen already in place? So yes, it is very much ideas on how to expand.
And if it stays there, I mean, is the county looking at that, if that's possible to expand there, that they're putting their rec center further away so the tech center could expand?
That's the conversation that's ongoing right now. Is that the right location for a rec center, or is that the right location for a technical center expansion? And so the messaging that I was able to ask Mr. Thomas to give to the Board of Supervisors was tap the brakes, because there's a lot of information coming on this facility study, and with it, a lot of facility information. There may be a better plan that will help the county in general.
And from the last Board of Supervisors meeting, I think they did pump the brakes on spend up there, which means they listened. That's good. Let's see what else comes of it. Possibly.
I just don't want them to landlock you, and then when you want to expand, you're going to have to go somewhere else and build another whole
And I do
building.
think that they've considered that.
I think that a lot of people have talked about, and they're aware of the tech center being there, right? And yeah, I do think that,
Yeah, but sometimes people move forward before they think.
but hopefully they've slowed up some. That's
Call your board of supervisors.
That's right.
right.
Board of Supervisors.
Everybody.
Well, thank you for the presentation. You did a great job. Thank you.
And this bag is too pretty to take home and not get somewhere, so you're the winner.
Oh my goodness!
I saw that.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, let me see. It does have a lot of bling on that.
Put to good use. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, our next item will be PCHS Student Board Representative Presentation. And it's Veronica.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I will fix that when I walk back down. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a nice day. Joey could not make it. He had a haircut that he's rescheduled 3 times. So I'm here. So we're going to start with a building update. PCHS was recognized as a distinguished on school performance and support framework and exceeding expectations. Can't talk today. Achievement, growth, graduation rates, and readiness for SOL scores and data-driven instruction. So that's really good that our SOL scores are increasing and student performance is getting better. Here, next one. Ms. Painter's class has currently received a grant for Chandler Lions Club to start a coffee cart. So they have a little coffee cart that they do every day. They go around to the teachers. They haven't started selling to students yet, but the teachers absolutely enjoy it. They make personalized coffee for them. It's called the Panther Perk Coffee Cart, and they're selling coffees and sweet treats to faculty and staff. Really sucks not to be a staff person, might say. So first we're going to start with our sports updates. Now, we have a lot of these, and this was made when we were supposed to present last time. So I have new updates on mine, but we have an old presentation submitted, so I'm just going to add some things in there when we go. So both boys cross country and cheer made it to the state championship, which is obviously amazing. So starting with our boys basketball, they are now 8-6. We have currently lost to Luray, which is very upsetting, but it's okay. It's okay. Our girls basketball has a great honor. Allie Purdom, our senior, has reached 1,000 points in her high school basketball career, so that's great to hear. She keeps exceeding. She's such a great basketball player. Then, thing that's not on here, we also have another student on boys basketball is Caden Combs. He has currently reached 1,000 points in his high school basketball career and also has beat the previous record of 41 points in most scored in a game to now 42. So that's great to hear. He's beat a high school record, and I think it was like 62 years or something that's been beat. So it's a really great honor, and we recognized him, I'm pretty sure, at the Luray game. So that was great to hear. Our indoor track has successfully now, that says 3. We have 5 that have currently qualified for state, and our 4x4 team, I'm pretty sure, has a 5 seconds or like a 0.5, something like that. They explained to me today that I went around and asked to make sure I had all the updates. They're very, very close to reaching their state qualified. I think it's a little handoff issue. And then our wrestling results, it's 2nd, 3rd, 5th placements. Our wrestling is doing very good, especially in our girl thing. We have 2 girls. Actually, I think we have 4, but we have 2 very high girls, Kayla Pence and Bree Bracken, that are doing very well, which is great. And then the next slide is everybody. Caden Combs isn't up there, but he is on my slideshow, but my Wi-Fi hates me. So those are just some highlights. We have our wrestling team at the bottom, Allie Purdom on the right. I think that's Braxton Pettit and Aaron Hensley, which I bet y'all have heard those names before from Past Track. And then we have our score against during our Rand's Hardware Classic where we participated in. I'm pretty sure the boys did that. Okay, so club updates. We have clubs are continuing to thrive at PCHS. We have giving students opportunities to serve the community through PCHS. The SCA has currently held a food drive to assist with providing families for disadvantaged families and through backpack program, which our FCCLA group helps make the goods for them during our SAP classes that are student assistant programs. So that's nice. And then we have backpacks that SCA will pack into and then send home with the students. So that's been very nice for that. Okay. I have a lot of club updates, so I have to really go through this. In October, Spanish Honor Society, this is Stanley Elementary's Boo Bash, which I personally went to. I loved it so much. I love hanging out at the elementary school. They always light my spirit up. FBLA took a virtual tour at New York and Stock Exchange and the Lego Factory in Denmark. So they went to, which you can go to the next slide. They went VR. It was very cool. I had a lot of students tell me they really enjoyed that. It was a very nice experience. Okay, here's my group, guys. FCCLA traveled to Washington, D.C. for Capital Leadership Meeting. Students served on Veterans Day meals and PCH staff for social members from Stanley Elementary. We went to their Winter Fest, also a great time hanging out with the elementary school students. They're great. And then Arlington, we also went to the Arlington National Cemetery where we placed wreaths on there like we always do every year. I think our basketball programs also do that, and so does our FFA. So it's great that all of our clubs and sports are doing that because it's a great honor. And then the FFA participated in the Stanley Christmas Parade. And then I think the next slide is photos of everyone. There's me. So we have our FFA on here, Capital Leadership, and then we have our Winter Fest in Arlington Museum, which Joey Miller, he's not here today, but he also got to lay one of the first wreaths as a national officer. So it's great to hear for that. It's a great recognition of our school. National Honor Society has been a hard work serving the community. This year in October, they held a trunk or treat for families in the community. So we did a little thing. My group did Jurassic Park. So there was a great, we had some, I'm pretty sure we have a competition every year. You want to think crumble cookie or Somia cookies is what the prize was. I got second place, so I didn't get them. But they did a SpongeBob SquarePants theme. So they dressed up as SpongeBob characters, which the kids loved. And then for Veterans Day, NHS students also did helping with setting up beforehand, assisting veterans when they walked in. And then they also sit down with them while they have breakfast, which our FCCLA group cooks for them. So they sit down and have conversations with them and get them to talk about their experiences. So it's a great conversation to communicate with our community about veterans and stuff like that. And then in December, NHS also traveled to Front Royal to package loads of toys of tots for bags for Page Current area. So I think that might be on the next slide. There I am again. So we went there and we did package toys. So you get a little list with everybody's name on it, and you get to walk around and pick out certain toys that kids might like. It's very limited. Please donate. But it was a really fun experience. We all it's like going shopping, but it's for free. So you just grab. It's a great experience. Okay, then our music department. The PCHS musical department held their winter concert for families in the community on December 12th. I'm pretty sure their spring play is coming up, and I'm pretty sure they're doing Frozen. If I'm being honest, I do not know for sure. So I will look at that. But that is our music department, and thank you. Any questions or anything else?
I love your energy.
Thank you.
I'm tired.
It makes me excited, and I love the smile, and you represent your school well, and you're excited. And I love that little coffee cart. I think that's
Trust me, I'm jealous.
such a great pick
Very, very jealous.
Maybe it'll grow to.
That's what they're talking about, I
students
think, is
buy.
growing it. So it's a great experience
Yeah.
for that. But thank you all so much.
Awesome, thank you.
Nice job.
Good job. All right, our VSBA policy updates, Ms. Clark.
Good evening, board. You have approximately 11 policies in front of you this evening that I've presented for informational items. No significant changes, just up time for review. Some wording matchups just to match with our VSBA policies and make a few tweaks, but nothing significant. Are there any questions for this evening?
Question?
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, informational, nutritional services, and Mr. Runyon.
Good evening, board members. I'm excited to give a little intro for our supervisor of nutritional services, Kate, and then she's going to talk to you about some things she's done, some vision she has going forward. Currently, she has been with us for 8 years in school nutrition. She holds an associate's in culinary arts and a bachelor's degree in food service management from Johnson & Wales University. And having worked with her in this short amount of time in this role, I'm very pleased with what she's doing. I think her leadership is spot on. She works well with her department, and I'm just excited. We are excited where she's going to take nutritional services for Page County Public Schools. So, Kate, it's all you.
Gotta get my paper out. It's my first time. Good evening. Excited to provide you with my first nutritional services update to kind of tell you where we're focusing right now. The first thing I'm going to talk about is someone from BDOE, the School and Community Nutrition Programs Department for Region 4. The specialist came here last week to meet with me and do in-person onboarding. So she spent a couple hours here with me, kind of showing me the ins and outs of what they expect. And I was able to hopefully ensure a compliant transition, as well as I've established a relationship with her now so that we can communicate effectively and she'll provide me with support. Recently, the new dietary guidelines for Americans were released. I talked with her about that while she was here to get some further information. So as of right now, we're fully compliant with USDA meal pattern regulations. We will continue moving forward as we are right now until we get official guidance issued from USDA with updated information. We are working towards improving the student experience. One way we're doing that is we're making all of our salad dressings in-house now. We're working with a local farm to get dill for ranch, things like that. So by doing that, we're able to train staff and support them, as well as control ingredients and have some consistency across the board. So to support our staff, we have recently had 2 new cafeteria managers. We tried a new style of training this time. We paired them up like a peer mentorship. So we paired them with some experienced high-performing managers so that they could have hands-on guidance in those kitchens, as well as kind of make a relationship so that they have support ongoing for long-term success. We're continually working towards expanding scratch and speed scratch cooking. By doing that, we're going to do it in a phased, practical way. We're not going to flip the world upside down and just do everything at one time. We're going to try to do this in a practical way that will support the staff and also create consistency across the board. So thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Thank you.
You sound excited.
I'm very excited. I love food and I love kids, so
Great.
sounds great.
Question. When
Sure.
you say the program growth expanding scratch, are you using the VA recipes or?
So we are part of a cohort, Virginia Food for Virginia Kids. They specialize in bringing scratch cooking into school kitchens with recipes that are compliant with USDA regulations. So we've worked with them to create some recipes. That's kind of part of what I'm doing right now, is seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work for our kids, seeing what kids like and what they don't like. So also training staff is a big part of that. If they can't successfully complete that, I don't want them to feel like they're not supported and have the training they need to create something that's good. And I don't want students to eat something that isn't what we want. So, yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Hey, thank
Thank
you. We've got our Gov Deals auction items. Mr. Bell?
Evening, board members. Tonight I'm coming before you to share as an informational item our request to dispose of some school property pursuant to policy DN. As you can see, the items we're seeking for approval are a dump truck, a van, 4 hospital beds from the nursing program at the tech center, and some small refrigerators from the nutritional services department. I'll be coming back to you at the next board meeting to ask for your approval on this. If there are any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Is there any benefit in donating the hospital beds perhaps to one of the retirement homes?
That is an option we did not consider. We looked at our clinics at the school level to see if they were of use to them, and nobody took us up on that. But that is an option we can look into.
I mean, they may, I don't know if we can get any remuneration on that issue, but they may need them.
It's possible. One thing with the beds, though, is that there are some issues with them, and so they may not be suitable for their purposes.
Gotcha. Well, we got a welder. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, something to think about.
Sure.
All right, no questions. Thank you. Our FY26 budget update, Ms. Miller.
Good evening. Thank you, board members. I would like to bring a finance update to you all this evening on the current budget for FY26. As you see here, the FY26 budget is based on an average daily membership, an ADM, we will refer to it as, of 2830, so 2,830 students. ADM currently is running about 2810. For the first half of the year, we were funded at a state estimated ADM of 2705. I'm not exactly sure where that number comes from. It's calculated by the state. I actually called the VDOE about it to figure out where they get that number, but it is some sort of formula that they use. So the first half of our year, again, we were funded at 2705, which was quite low as compared to our 2830. Good news is, beginning in January, the state did adjust our funding based on our fall record collection ADM, which was 2775. So we are receiving, or will be, approximately 400,000 more each month from January on. Now, our funding will be adjusted again after Mr. Samples files the spring record collection. So we will be adjusted again, either up or down, depending on what our ADM is running. And that will be an adjustment right about the end of May and then in June for the rest of the year. Hopefully you can see this. What I tried to put up here for you is a financial report, the same reports that I provide to you monthly. The one on the left side is for last year. It's FY25, but it's at the month ended December 31, and then on the right side, month ended December 31 this current year. I wanted you to be able to see a bit of a comparison here. At the bottom of these monthly reports, I always indicate where we are as in terms of the fiscal year. So in December, we're halfway through, so we're 50% through. However, if you take a look at the top there where that arrow is on the left, you can see that last year we were running about 49.17, a little bit below the 50%. So we were within our budget in terms of where we were in the fiscal year. On the right, you can see that currently we're running about 51.25%. So we are running a little bit ahead of what our budget should be based on where we are in the fiscal year. So if you take that 1.25%, multiply that out by our budget, we're looking at about a $582,000 overage right now. So that is a bit concerning. As we continue on, you will see a few other concerns that I have here regarding this current budget. The top number there is the FY25 actual salary. So what we actually paid. It does not include anything like salaries that would be for unfilled positions, but what we actually paid out in FY 2025. $27,536,249. When we budgeted for this FY26, we could have at least taken that amount, that actual salary amount, and increased it by 3% because we did give an overall increase in salaries by 3%. Again, this doesn't include those unfilled positions, but just the current salaries or the actual salaries of FY25. So that was an increase of $826,088. So basically the 3% on that FY25 actual salary. If we take a look at the health insurance for FY25, it was $3.9 million. And we did have a rather large increase in health. Well, it was large increase in health insurance for this current year. It was an 18% increase. The division did not take on all of that increase, but we did take a majority of it. So we're looking at $533,970 is the part that Page County absorbed of that increase. So if you take the FY25 and you add that increase in there, it would have been, like I said, an increase of $533,000. So just those two expenditures together, just those two alone, were $1.3 million. So our budget should have been increased considering those things by that amount. But if you take a look at the next slide, you will see that the FY25 budget was $45,776,234. And the FY26 budget is $46,559,082. This is an increase of $782,848. So again, salary and health insurance increased alone 1.3 million, but our budget was increased by 782,000. On the next slide, you will see that what I've been trying to do, because I've been concerned about this for quite a while, and not knowing fully what the answer is to this budget, because I didn't create this budget, but I am digging in and trying to understand it. So each month, what I'm doing is I'm taking the expenditures and I'm doing an average, and I'm trying to project out over the rest of the year what our expenses are going to be. When I project salaries and benefits, I actually use actual, because we know what our actual salaries are right now, and we know what our actual benefits are, but we don't know what purchase services are going to be, and materials and supplies and things like that. So I'm taking an average and I'm projecting. When I started projecting in October, it looked pretty bleak. I was projecting a $1.9 million overage. So we started immediately implementing some cuts and some savings. And so in November, we started to see this come down a little bit. My projection was close to 1.7, so 274,000 less. And then in December, we saw it come down even more, so 1.2. So we're headed in the right direction. It's still not looking so great, but we are headed in the right direction. Would you like me to cover?
Yeah, I'll talk to this. So,
Can I ask you a question?
yes.
So, seeing where we are right now, earlier you said we're appreciating now 400,000 per month in revenue. Is that correct? Based on the new numbers?
More than we were, yes.
Okay, so is that going to be retroactive to the beginning of the school year?
It
or is
should
it going to be?
It should be.
So if
it
we-
should be.
So if I do my numbers in my head,
Yeah.
Overfelt math, then we should be in pretty good shape if that goes back to October.
What you do have to remember, and yeah, it's great news that we're getting that funding now, because if we were to continue to be funded at that low level like we have been,
Right.
we're going to run out of local match very quickly.
Oh, sure.
So it's good news that we're getting that money. But what you have to remember is when I do my projections,
Right.
I'm comparing it to a budget that's 2830 ADM, which we may not be getting that much revenue. Now, I have also projected revenues. I'm all the time looking at revenues, and we are receiving some that we didn't budget for. So that's good.
Yeah.
My gap that I had initially projected for revenues is narrowing. So that's good. I like to see that. So I'm hoping that it's just the expenditure side that we have to worry about and not as much the revenue side. But when I project, I'm comparing it to our budget. So yes, we're getting more money now, but we were already counting on that money. We're not getting more than what we counted for, that we were counting on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
But it's the number that we're at 2810 now.
Correct.
But they're only funding us now at 2775.
Right.
Right.
So as I tackle this next slide, I'll just chime in. Tanya's going to conclude at the end of this with some measures we've put into place. But we're continuing to try and evaluate where, by year's end, where are the areas that we can keep making up this distance. I have a spreadsheet with 75 names on it, and that spreadsheet reflects folks that were in positions a year ago, retired, resigned, left, and who we hired in their place. I call it my breakage sheet. And so that spreadsheet, I have to the penny, what was somebody making last year? They left, we hired, what was their salary? Because a 30-year veteran leaves and you hire a new teacher, there's quite a lot of breakage there. And so this is just a summary of that spreadsheet, but we had 7 unfilled positions to start this year that are still, 6 of the 7 are still unfilled. Elementary dean, 2 high school ag teachers, elementary alternative ed teacher, 2 high school science teachers. But we had to shrink. We had to, the science classes, we had to redo student schedules and make some other sections larger. That should be, when all the dust settles and we get to the end of the year of unpaid salary, that should be $340,472 to the good, which will, again, will narrow the gap. what we call TPOTA contracts. Those are individuals that are not fully licensed. When we hire, obviously we're looking for licensed teachers. In today's day and age, there is a teacher shortage, and we often cannot find somebody with a full license. If we can get somebody with a bachelor's degree, we have a program called iTeach, which is an expedited pathway to a teaching license. But those individuals, we start them off at a $40,000 contract because they're not fully licensed. So they're about $12,000 less than a starting teacher. We have 14 people on that kind of contract. So I tallied that. That's $158,000 less than we put in the budget, built in. And then I just kind of gave you a synopsis because then the breakage, if you hire a new assistant principal and the person that left was a step 5, it's savings. If all of these positions, if somebody comes in new to a position, they're on a step 0, not a step 3 or 4 or 5. So we had this number on day one, 526, 562, as a number that should be breakage. So as long as our staffing numbers at the beginning of the budget cycle were correct, on the end of the budget cycle, this number should make up distance as well. There's another, I won't go into too much detail, but there's another, we've met with all of the directors, we've met with principals, and there's other departments that we're looking at. Okay, can we delay this purchase till next year? If we can save this amount of money. And it's significant money. So we were, this is obviously not a good news presentation, but it's a presentation in which, as you know, for 8-10 weeks now, we've been tracking closely, speaking to principals, speaking to directors, and saying, okay, I've been using the word steer. How do we steer this budget to ensure that that at the end of it, that it's balanced. And then there's another whole discussion about a revisit with the supervisors. There was talk in July about that, and another topic that we need to discuss at some point. But so that's the salary piece to this as well.
No, just one point of clarification on that breakage. So that 526, 562, what you think would be the breakage, we've already experienced some of savings of that, right? And that's what's going to continue the rest of the year.
That's right.
Okay, so
it's a percentage.
So when we're talking about things going down to 1.2, it's part of that.
Yeah, this is a journey, and
So that's the end of the year number.
That's the end of the year number. Should be, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, we wanted to point out to you that there are quite a bit of expenses for CIP that were not budgeted. As of January 15th, we've incurred approximately $263,825 in capital improvement expenditures that are not currently budgeted for. The Board of Supervisors did appropriate $235,000 this year to fund 2 CIP, but those were specifically for a school bus and for repair of a school mezzanine. So those costs were things that happen that we have to fix, we have to repair, but we don't have that budgeted. So that's part of that overage.
Yeah, so I've mentioned some of that with Mr. Thomas on our visits. And I think it's something for us as a board to talk about, going back to the Board of Supervisors and saying, hey, your budget gave us this, and we've got all these other CIPs that aren't in our budget.
Right.
And most of our budget is salaries and benefits. We should be going back and asking for, in my opinion, but that's something that we've got to decide as a board to go back and talk about those things. But that's.
And Ms. Miller, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you say like historically anything over $7,000 is typically what the county would kind of start to step up and for the CIP list?
It does go in the CIP
We
list.
have been absorbing that
Correct.
from
We've
our
been
own
absorbed.
budget. Yeah.
And that's not in that number?
Those
So-
are, that number that I gave, that the 263 are those items,
Oh,
those
those
bigger
items.
items
Those
that are
items.
over seven. Yeah,
The
there's.
2 items, right?
Whatever.
The bus and the.
I'm sorry, I was referring to the 263.
263, yeah.
That list was generated by staff looking through and saying, what did we spend for items that are over $7,000? Now, there's a lot more, and we'll have to talk about that later, where our O&M budget that were smaller items under $7,000 that accumulate that we haven't budgeted for as well. So we have quite an adjustment to make to that O&M for next year if we're going to get it right.
So the 235 though is a subset of the 263? is
Correct,
that
totally correct.
The
Okay.
235
It's separate. Yeah.
Totally
Separate number.
Separate.
Separate number.
That was a $155,000 school bus and $80,000 quote to repair mezzanines, which are accesses to the upper HVAC systems at the
Okay.
at the
That's-
two high schools.
I just wanted to make sure I understood that those are two separate.
Two
numbers.
separate.
Two
yes.
separate.
Correct.
Right. Which is,
Right.
I mean, it's great because it would obviously look even worse if we had to absorb both of those numbers.
Right.
But I mean, O&M's going to get even worse. I mean, what do we expect with the schools at the age they are and the condition that they're in?
Right. And like I said, this does not even reflect
Right.
how O&M is already over budget for just the general maintenance.
Yeah.
Utilities and so forth.
And then lay on an unfunded requirement and stay. Yeah, okay.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yes. So this last slide here, these are steps that we are using to try to correct some of the shortfall. We halted at the end of October the school spending of division funds. It's not unusual for us to ask the schools to only spend half of their division funds by the end of October, and then we will wait and see where we are to determine whether we are going to release the second half. And we did not release the second half this year. So there's some savings there. That does put a burden on our schools. However, I have reached out to the principals to ask them to let me know if there are just very necessary expendables that certain classes need. We need to continue educating our children. And there are classes that, family consumer science being a big one, that they can't purchase all of their items in the fall. You can't buy food in the fall that you're going to cook in the spring. So they have to have money second half.
Can, but it,
We discourage that. We discourage that. So that's one example. They may be reaching out to me to say, I think we could squeak by with this much, and we will look at those on a case by case basis. Department spending has been limited to what is required and necessary. There are things that they would typically buy that they're just holding off on, just trying to limit as much as possible. We did, like Dr. Johnson said, we did task departments with analyzing their budgets to just try to give us an estimate of what do you think we can save, and we do see some savings there. I don't want to give a dollar figure to that right now, but there are some savings to be had there. And then we are looking, for every position that comes open, whether resignation or retirement, we're looking very closely at it, and rather than just, this is an open position, let's go ahead and post it, we're looking at each position to see where we can squeak by for the year.
So I'll give you an example. We have sat on a couple of positions that we really would like to fill, we intended to fill, but we haven't at this point. So then there are others that, as you all know, when you see the personnel agenda, there are positions that, yes, we have to, if somebody leaves, we have to replace them.
I will continue each month to give you the monthly updates like I do every month, but I will try to, point out different things and what our savings are as we go. I do look for there to be a good bit of savings as I complete January, because we're paying December expenses in January, and we were closed for 2 weeks. But then you've got those expenses that are going to be amping up, like with this kind of weather. You've got the fuel, huge heating oil costs and propane and so forth. So we're going to do the best we
It's gonna get
can.
worse with weather going down to 4 degrees and minus 1 degree. And, yeah, you got to keep the pipes from bursting in
We
the
do.
schools.
Right.
Yeah. Never easy, is it?
Okay, so that's the best view we've seen so far. So thank you for that. I think we know where we're at in some ways, and everybody's doing the best they can. And unfortunately, when we don't backfill positions, that affects education of our children. So as a board, I think we need to really talk about what we're going to go with supervisors, talk about some of these things as far as it goes. I think the key date is the latest ADM is what date?
March 31st is the ADM count.
ADM count. So that's going to tell us exactly where we're at. So, anybody got any questions on the board? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. We need to talk. Yeah, detail.
Next item is superintendent update. Yes, sir. Good evening, members of the school board. This is not a lengthy update. Some of it is a bit repetitive from some others. I'm going to say a few things that Veronica presented as well. So, but I'll lead off, and you've just heard this in detail. We're trying to give you a good look at our ADM every meeting. The good news right now is we're up 4 students from the December report. So 2810. It was 2806 in December, so that was good news. As you know, the revenue has been adjusted by the state. I put this number at the bottom. Mr. Samples draws these numbers out for me for each meeting. Our total enrollment right now is 2,991. We don't get funded on every name on our books. We get funded on the students that are in our schools. So we have students that are attending other places. They're from here. They might be assigned other places for specific educational purpose. We may have students that fall out of the Virginia regulation on what counts, whether too old or too young, that sort of thing. There's special situations. But I thought it was interesting to mention that sometimes you might hear what's your enrollment, and you might hear a number and you're like, well, that's not what they said the other night. And that's because one is a budgeted funding number and one is actual names on a register, if you will.
That's surprising.
It is, isn't it? You would think it would just, but that's the way the state does that. I asked the principals to give me some just examples of some successes. Not that I want to talk sports. Actually, what I want to talk is school climate. I sat in the Page Luray gym the other night. There's a photo there of the girls. I haven't seen the gym that full in quite some time. It was full. Luray Page, they played JV games that night. They followed with the varsity girls. They followed with the varsity boys. And regardless of the outcome and whose side you were on, it was high energy. It was exciting. And I was reflecting on the way home that night as a former principal, these are the things that drive culture. These are the things that when you're a principal and you think about how kids behaving in school, what's their attitude coming to school? And it's these things. And we are in the middle of a really strong winter season. And so I asked the principals just to give me some examples. This is not going to capture everybody. But I just thought, give me some of the highlights. And so, I don't know if people know this. We have an undefeated girls middle school team at Page. We have an undefeated JV boys team down at Page right now. That excites kids. That excites parents. This was a neat trip. Our Page girls varsity JV and middle school went to Charlottesville and did a trip to the Ronald McDonald House. It was a strong learning activity, and then they did some team bonding things. No secret, the Page and Luray boys are both in the hunt for a district title. That is a highly contested race right now. We've got 2 individuals in indoor track that are leading the state right now. Osmani Jackson at Luray and Braxton Pettit. If you pull up the state indoor track, they are number 1. And so pretty exciting stuff. As Veronica said, we've got Caden and we've got Allie and at Luray, Matthew, all 1,000-point scorers right now. Creates excitement. I'm told that Michael Shiflett is knocking on the door of his 100th win as a wrestler. Pretty neat stuff. And then Bree and Kayla are very close to qualifying for the state wrestling tournament. I was thinking when Leanne and Tommy were presenting, there was great energy in this room. And there was excitement and joy, if you will. Yeah. And I think this is what our schools, this is a big part of that. And so I just thought it was worth bringing up today. Thank you, parents, students, because there's a lot of hours. Coaches, this doesn't happen. There's a lot of unforeseen work behind the scenes. But it sure does shine in the school day. So, yeah. Quick update on cell phone policy.
Oh, good.
It is this week. we started on Tuesday. I have seen a pulling together. The drivers, one of our drivers reached out to us about 2 weeks ago and said, hey, this has been on my mind. I want to make sure that we're not forgetting to help the students understand what's expected on the bus. So we did. I saw a teacher share a document out and said, hey, if anybody wants this, this is what I'm going to use in my classroom to help remind students. I think a lot of teachers jumped on that. I was at Luray High today for the MLK celebration, and it was lunchtime, and there were board games that have been provided by the school. Kids are talking. It's crazy. They're looking at what, aren't they, Veronica? They're looking at each other and talking.
Amazing.
Let me.
No. See, the thing is, I've had a different experience.
Okay. Let me give you the data. We only have three referrals at Page and two referrals. No, I'm sorry. We have three at each school, three at Page and three at Luray total in regards to discipline so far this week. We know it's going to be a learning curve. We know there's going to be some bumps in the road, but I thought that students and staff pulled together on week one. It was good. I thought you might be interested in that.
That's positive.
I'm excited to tell you that next board meeting, February the 12th, we will have members from the architectural firm RRMM. They're going to present to you their findings of the facility study to date. It's not a be-all and end-all presentation. It's going to be, what are they seeing right now? What is the data showing them? What are options for Page County Public Schools? And they're going to give a lot of options. They're going to be looking for some feedback, because then they're going to go back, and if there's 2 or 3 or 4 that you as a school board say, boy, that's pretty good, we should keep digging, and then we start taking a much deeper dive into district lines and programs, and where would a special ed program go if it was that model versus this model? What would that cost? What would it look like when you start moving the faculty around? And again, let me remind you that this is 5 years or more out. If we somehow, some way could settle on a model, get community support, get supervisor support, get funding, by the time you draw up your designs and your plans and you get your builders in place, I mean, you're talking still years down the road. What I have said to the facilities committee that's been working on this at the school level, my thought is that I don't want to have to apologize 30 years from now to the community because we didn't get it right now. We need to get it right based on the age of our buildings. And if we don't get it right, then in 30 years, you're going to have 130 and 120-year-old buildings, about 5 of them. So this is serious. I'm super excited they're going to be here in person. They're looking forward to meeting you all and kind of sharing with you the work so far. But some of the examples, these are vague. They're going to be specific. We could continue as is and get a commitment to CIP funding. We could continue the current model, but renovate certain buildings significantly. Ultimately, they're going to stand in front of you with price tags. Or you could look at the middle and high school model and shape that differently, or you could do the same with our elementaries. But I think they've got 6 or more models, and they're going to try to pare it down. Always in the hip pocket, of course, is the current model, and we do nothing. We've spent quite a bit of money, though, on both Bureau Veritas when we did that study and got all of that data, and then this group as well. So to do nothing would be sad.
Well, Einstein's already answered that question for us.
Yeah.
Dr. Johnson,
Yes, sir.
do we know what the projected lifespan of a school should be and what the state average is?
Yes, I can't spit those out to you, but Bureau Veritas, when they did our study a few years ago, they come with a lot of that. They come with it with your infrastructure, certain components of a building. What would the lifespan be? What's the lifespan of a roof? Our CIP goes 20 years out and specifically says, you're going to need a roof at this year, and you're going to need this at that year. And so, yeah, we have all of that data now, which we've never had before. We spent the last 2.5 years collecting that data, and we are we're in a pretty strong place in regard to answering such questions, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think they meant for a lifespan of a school to be 120 years.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and when we did our building tours, not only that, you start looking at how many additions some of our buildings had and how did they marry together or not, and HVAC, how are they running on a wiring system that's much older than they were intended for, and yeah, so much.
Even some of those have been 20, 30,
That's
20
right.
years.
Right, yeah, yeah,
And some of the new additions aren't even as good a shape as the original building.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's the,
Yeah. So it's fascinating. There's a lot I'd love to share with you. There's so much that has gone on that we could get you up to speed on some of the reports and data we have. It's fascinating.
I'm just wondering, because that would help the community understand
Yeah.
what the traditional lifespan of a school
Yes.
is supposed to
Yeah.
be,
That's a great
what the
point.
state average is, and where we are with 100 and some odd
Yeah. Yeah.
old buildings.
Yeah, they will present the state averages on what's typical, what do some of like our Northern Virginia schools, when they're just cranking out new schools, when do they do that? There's a threshold when they start doing another one and another one. And it would not be reasonable to think we would maintain that rate. But you're right, there's a reasonable building use threshold. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I wanted to just share with you very quickly. As you know, we had the Martin Luther King Jr. celebrations at all schools. It was a neat concept. For many, many years, we've done a single celebration, typically on a Sunday afternoon at Luray High School. And I can remember 15 years ago, it would be packed out. And slowly, we started to see a little bit less attendance, a little bit less attendance, a little bit less. I think the pandemic didn't help us at all in that department. But what we started to see in the last couple of years was we weren't necessarily reaching our students. And so this year, the instructional team got together and with the principals and came up with a model that would be held at each school and all students would participate. And like I said, I was at one today. I thought it was fantastic. We had community visitors, we had students, we had staff, and it was very, very good. And so I just, quick slide on that, just to kind of tell you what went down. Some of you might have gone to some, but they were good. And lastly, the topic in the back of everybody's mind, Mr. Runyon and I have been in attendance at some local emergency services meetings yesterday afternoon, this afternoon, tomorrow we'll be there again. We're on conference calls with the National Weather Service, so we are getting current, up-to-date information that, I think you tend to then maybe see on some news show a few hours later. So I won't quote them on what they're saying the snow totals will be yet, because they're still saying tomorrow's another day and it's going to shift north or it's going to shift south. What this has done for us with our ops team, though, is I will tell you that there's been a lot of discussion and planning to make sure if it doesn't go well and we get 20 inches of snow or something to that effect, that we're as ready as we can be. I was talking to Mr. Runyon today. I am so thankful we got that new plow. We got that new plow truck with a 9-foot plow on it. Couldn't be better timing if this happens. So our maintenance team has a schedule. We know who's going where, when, depending on when the storm ends and how quickly it's safe to mobilize them. Because of the frigid temperatures that are in the forecast, we know that timing is of the essence to get, there's a window to get it plowed before it gets packed and then ice is impossible. I am a bit concerned. I'm going to talk to the emergency services tomorrow just about some of our entry lanes. I think about Page County High getting up the hill, because VDOT goes in and does the loop around the middle school because that's part of VDOT's roads. But from the middle school up is us. So do we have the capability? Do we have the chemicals? The same is true for some of our others. So we're on top of that, trying to get some help there. Our drivers, have been asked, make sure you clear your buses as quickly as you can. And as importantly, if you know your bus is parked in an area that you might not be able to get it out, then we're asking them to park it at school, not parking it because we can't have, we could have school today and, a few days after the storm, but half of our fleet is snowed in on people's driveways. So we've had that conversation. Ms. Campbell and her team are prepping the kitchens in case of extended absence, power outages, that kind of thing. Tim Williams's team have checked fuel, oil, and gas levels. We've got a plan for checking the buildings. We can monitor our heat systems remotely. As long as the cameras are up, we can monitor our buildings remotely. We have a lot of things in place for that. And athletics, right now, we've got quite a few decisions already made because other divisions weigh in on that decision as well. I will tell you there is still some discussion about one Saturday morning reschedule in which we could have an event done and kids back here by early afternoon Saturday. The meeting I was at today, the storm is trending a bit later into the evening to night Saturday. So we think Saturday morning is going to be fine, but that decision hasn't been made yet. But so a lot of work going into this. And just lastly, again, working with emergency services, if the storm is significant and there's significant power outages across the county, both of our high schools are designated as shelters. That decision is made by the Red Cross in partnership with DSS, and then they reach out to myself. We mobilize our team for access. We're working tomorrow with them on, okay, when the fires came through, that happened, and cots were brought in and the gym was set up as a shelter. Hopefully we don't get there, but again, we're thinking ahead. So I just wanted you to know it's been quite active in the ops department the last 48 hours. And that's my presentation.
Thank you.
Yes,
any questions from the board? No, I just say if you guys need any help, we have to go to the shelter situation. You need help, I'm willing to bring my four-wheel drive and help all I can.
Thank you.
I'll do the same thing.
Yeah, thank you. Typically what happens, Red Cross staffs it, DSS provides some staffing. We're asked to provide building access keys and just somebody that knows that, because it's just a limited part of the two high schools, hopefully just one high school even. When the fires came, Luray High was the shelter, and our staff, I remember Miss Clark was principal at the time, and our staff spent a lot of hours there, but they were key holders and, and they knew the buildings.
Sure.
Yeah, but we will keep that in mind. If we're looking for volunteers, we will yell. Yeah.
Good. All right, we'll go to our action items. Claims for payment, Ms. Miller.
Yes, thank you, board members. You have been provided with a claim certification for January 22nd, 2026, where the total operating fund expenditures are $365,989.98. Fund 5 food service, $34,533.34 for a total expenditure of $400,523.32. With this certification, you have been provided with a list of claims and check registers. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
I make a motion, we approve the claims for payment as presented.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Oldfelt and a second by Mr. Breeden. Any discussion on that before we vote? I hear none, so.
None.
Mr. Overbaugh.
Yes.
Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. POs over 10,000.
Yes, board, you have one purchase order over 10,000 for your consideration this evening. This is for Hobbs and Associates for repairs at Luray Middle School for $11,777.28. This is for replacement of compressors. If I'm understanding correctly, the compressors need to be replaced, and we're currently running on backup, which may or may not hold with this cold weather. So we feel like this is a necessary repair.
These are compressors on the freezer, the walk-in freezers or the walk-in coolers, or?
I'm going to refer to Mr. Runyon for details on that.
Associates is our HVAC.
So it's HVAC? Okay.
How soon can that be completed?
They're on the schedule. We would call them and take them off the schedule at the beginning of the year.
Well, I recommend we approve. I make a motion, we approve the PO to fix the compressors at the high school.
Second.
Yeah, got a.
Luray Middle.
In the
Luray Middle, sorry.
Yeah. Motion by Mr. Oldfelt and second by Mr. Fox.
Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Mr. Breeden.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brian. Yes.
Yes. Resolution 2026-05.
Yes.
Three
Yes, I do have a resolution for your approval this evening. This is resolution to the Page County Board of Supervisors requesting an adjustment of the 25-26 school budget for additional funds awarded for the Early Childhood Provisionally Licensed Teacher Incentive Grant. Whereas Page County Public Schools applied to the Virginia Department of Education for the Early Childhood Provisionally Licensed Teacher Incentive Grant, and whereas this grant seeks to support high-quality instruction in early childhood classrooms and will provide financial incentives to provisionally licensed teachers who are actively engaged in coursework with the goal of becoming fully licensed to teach young learners, and whereas the Virginia Department of Education awarded Page County Public Schools the Early Childhood Provisionally Licensed Teacher Incentive Grant for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $6,000. And whereas these grant funds are designated to support provisionally licensed teachers in the Virginia Preschool Initiative, or VPI, and whereas it is necessary to adjust the 2025-2026 school budget to recognize and appropriate the additional revenue from the state grant in the amount of $6,000. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Page County School Board respectfully requests that the Page County Board of Supervisors approve a budget adjustment the 25-26 school budget to include additional state revenue and corresponding expenditure appropriation of $6,000 with no change to local appropriations.
I make a motion we approve the resolution that's presented by Ms. Miller.
A second.
All right, got a motion by Mr. Oldfelt and a second by Mr. Breeden.
Yes.
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 Yes. The SBA policy updates, Ms. Clark.
Good evening, Board. Back with you to look at action items this month from the informational items presented last. There were approximately 11 policies brought forward for your review, most of which were minor or that we consolidated into one policy as is reflected with the SBA. I'm actually action.
I got a question.
Yes.
Is that what you just presented in?
No, this was last month's informational item,
Yeah.
but I'm asking for action. The informational item are new policies.
If I may, just for Mr. Breeden's benefit, so for the last several months, we've been basically auditing our policy manual. So we've worn Ms. Clark out with action and informational policies on the cycle. So the informational ones that she showed will be the action ones next time. And these now were 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions?
So I make a motion we approve the VSBA policy updates as presented last board meeting.
All right, we got a motion by Mr. Oldfelt and a second by Ms. Bryant.
Yes.
Yes.
Abstain, because I wasn't.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, last, secondary program of studies, Ms. Hamel.
Good evening. 2 weeks ago, as an informational item, I presented you the secondary program of studies, including a summary document that included edits, changes, course deletions. I'm here seeking approval for that this evening.
I make a motion we approve the secondary program of studies as presented by Ms. Hamel.
So a motion by Mr. Oldfelt and a second by Ms. Bryant. Any other discussion or questions for her?
I would just like to comment on, and you presented a very difficult program, and I want to compliment your team on the efforts they did to put the program together. And I think it's going to be beneficial to all of our students. So good job on your part.
Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Get ready for a vote.
Yes.
Yes.
I abstain.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Last board comments. I'll start with our student representative and then go to our new board member, Mr. Breeden, and follow this way. Any comments?
Trying to think of one. I usually think of one right at the beginning of the meeting. I'm really confused. So I really liked PCPS presentation. It's really nice seeing that CTSE really incorporated in, because I am a big part of CTSE in my organization. So it's really nice to see that is really pushing forward. especially since a lot of CTSOs advocate for CTE so much. It's really nice to see our CTE program really progressing on that. Really don't have anything else.
Well, can I ask you, like, when we're discussing the cell phone policy, like, what's your thoughts, what's your experience, how is?
So I will say that it seems to me that students, it isn't exciting that they can't text their parents or text the people they speak to at school. Like, it has been frustrating for me not being able to figure out semester change. A lot of SAPs have changed. A lot of classes have changed. That you don't know where the people they do usually sit with at lunch are at. You have no idea. No idea at all. So I have had struggles finding my friends very badly.
Just make new ones.
I've known these people for 11 years now. I know all of them by heart, but I've had trouble like finding my people. But like other than that, we've hadn't had many programs, and it seems like students actually enjoy having their phone on their person or in a bag that is with them than putting it in a cubby, because then they're separated from their cellular device and it's all the way across the room. So they're like, at least now it is on me.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's an attachment issue almost, but I found it more like putting it in my lunchbox. Keeps it away for the day. Don't have to worry about it. But then it's, if it needed, it is easy access, but my phone is turned off. So I found that very much comforting for me, and students find this very much easier. But other than that, I mean, you took away teenagers' phones. So you can expect the response that y'all got at first.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't feel like it's been that bad. And the fact that we've only had 6 out of the county is really nice.
Mm-hmm. I do have a question on that though. So they're allowed to have it on their persons in their vicinity. Okay, that's good to know, because
Yeah.
if an emergency happens,
Exactly.
it's
That's
nice
part
to know
of
that they've got that when they go outside and they can call the parents and say, hey, I'm okay.
So we do have like teachers that have now used, since their phone is so close to a teenager's thing, they find that the result is that you put your phone in your book bag and it just moves across the classroom like an SOL test. So students were not very fond of their book bag not being near them anymore, because now you have to grab everything you need for that class and you have to ask to get up to be like, hey, I need to go get another something from my bag. So you have to run back to the back of the classroom and then run back, which distracts class time. So that has been a problem, I feel, because a lot of teachers are like, hey, put your book bags in the back so your phone is not on you. I guess that is their thing of putting your phone away, kind of like how theirs was putting it in a cubby. It's like your phone is across the room now. So now you're like, my stuff's across the room. I need to get this, I need to get that. I think that's one thing that students were like really wary about, was now their stuff's away from them also. But other than that, then I find it's a very good policy actually.
Oh, I just have something directed, well, for Dr. Johnson and for Ms. Painter. I know, speaking about the budget, I know that's something that you inherited when you came on to your new position. And I know you're working diligently on it to fix it. So please forgive me if I ask questions that's already been answered.
Sure, good.
It's several months or several times perhaps, as we move forward through the budget process.
problem.
And it's just to bring me back up to speed. And
Of course.
I'm a fast learner, so.
Well, I'm still learning about this budget, so you may have to work with me.
That it?
Yeah,
All right. Well, welcome aboard.
thanks. Back again.
Back again, yes. So-
Well, yeah, I have a couple of things. I want to thank everybody. The presentations are very professional. I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose.
Mm.
But it's good, and I'm absorbing a little bit of it, so that's good too. The one area that I'm interested in, that I like hearing about, is the training. You know, not the schoolwork, but the training, which is so important to our country. You know, we kind of screwed up in some of my generations, where we you got to go to school. School's it. You know, go get your degree in psychology, and then you can ask whether you want prize with that. I mean, it doesn't help. But one of the things I heard was, well, no one wants to be a plumber. I don't think that's right. I think that once a week or whatever, someone ought to come before a group, and I don't know what grade, the educators would probably know what grade, and they ought to come up and say, I'm a plumber. When I come to a house, people are really happy to see me.
Yeah.
It's not all this,
Yeah.
but you think about what new house goes up without any plumbing. And you know how many? None. And you know what that means? That means when I come up there, I go, yeah, we could do that. It's going to be pricey. And I also know next month when I can go on vacation. Some people don't know that. You know, they go, oh, my boss, I got to be there. You know, plumber can run life the way he wants to. Now, I'm not just talking about plumbers, because the next week a carpenter ought to come in and say, I'm a carpenter. Yeah, I went to trade school. It was really good. But where I really learned, I went to a company that does carpeting, and I said, or carpentry, and I said, hey, I'd really like to do an apprentice with you, and I can show you what I can do. I learned over at the trade center, you know. And I'm a nurse's aide. I'm in the Army. The Army's paying me $35,000 a year while I'm working on ROTC for my college education. I'm in exactly the subject I want to be in. And when I graduate, guess what? I'm going to be in a job that utilizes what they just paid me to learn. If I get out after 4 years, I'll get out 4 years with a degree and 4 years of experience that you can't get anyplace else. And what's the contractor want to hire? He wants to hire somebody that's got fresh military experience. That's tip of the iceberg. Anyway, so about the schools and what we can teach them trade-wise, I got a lot of interest in that, a lot of suggestions. I look forward to working with them up there.
Yeah, very good.
And I thank you all for helping to educate me.
Piggyback on his, it's easy to hook up a generator to get power to your house, but what are you going to do for plumbing?
Mm-hmm.
Can't hook anything up to the house for that.
Yeah.
You have to have a little house outside.
Yeah. I think they're banned in this county now. So.
I don't know. Anyway, I want to I stepped on that one. So, welcome, Mr. Breeden.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on the board. And we just got one more position to fill.
Yeah.
We're working on that, I know. PCTC, well, I mean, I agree with you, Dan. Outstanding. They're probably one of the more outstanding county assets that we have. And they reach outside, they represent the county well. When people come to this, I've been to a couple of the signings, and it is a great event. I mean, it's really something to see these companies come in and looking for the kids that graduate out of PCTC or those programs. So it's a program that we've got to bolster, and we've got to increase. And I'm hoping that the Board of Supervisors is taking on board your comments about slow rolling other land development, so we can see what we can do with that, because it's needed greatly. Budget, that's critical. I mean, we've got some serious work to do. I personally appreciate all the scrutiny that you're doing and the pain that you're experiencing, but it's going to pay off. I know it's going to pay off. We've got some work to do. We got some work to do as a board, and I would look forward to the opportunity to talk with our Board of Supervisors, and I would encourage each of us to talk to our individual supervisor. I know that I try to speak with Alan on occasion, and we have a good relationship, and that I think is absolutely critical for us to have board interaction. I really believe in that team effort, and that integration is very critical for us to make sure that they understand where we are in our budget process and what we need to do in this county to take care of our aging schools, because it's all about our kids. It's all about making sure that we give them the best possible education we can. And doing that, you've got to have a safe, comfortable teaching environment, and got to be free of asbestos, and you got to be free of which I think we are now. But you've got to have good working systems, and we've got to look at our schools really in a very hard, critical way. And lastly, I just hope that maybe some of the Board of Supervisors would consider coming and attending our meeting next month, first meeting with the RRMM presentation. I think it would be very, very beneficial for them to be on that, to listen to that presentation. If not in person, maybe they can at least tune in and catch it on Zoom. I think that's something else that we could actually remind them of. And then hopefully we'll get an opportunity to sit with them in some offsites. That's really necessary. I've always been an advocate of trying to do a quarterly meeting between this board and the Board of Supervisors. I think that'd be really, really beneficial for the county. And I don't have any snow equipment, so I got a shovel. And anybody want to come help me get out of snow? I can tell you where I live. Anyway, that's all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Y'all stay safe.
Congratulations to all the model students that were recognized tonight. It's a tricky time in life. Being a teenager is not easy, and so to be able to recognize all these wonderful acts of your character, I want you to be really proud of that, and that stands out because we change so much. 5 years we're going to be different than we are right now. 10 years will be different, and those are all great things because that means that we're not going to stop growing, right? We grow to improve ourselves. So congratulations to them. Speaking about the Board of Supervisors, I think that, sometimes we don't compliment when we need to. I know that whenever I reach out to my Board of Supervisor, Ryan Povich, he's always very receptive, and he listens, and he's very easy to communicate with. And I do think that it's important that we acknowledge how willing they are to communicate with us, and that the two boards do recognize that this is an us issue. This is all of our community and all of our future, and of course, all of our money. And so I think that when we get on the same page that way, and I think that we're working to that, and that really makes me happy. Dr. Johnson and Ms. Miller, you guys touched on some heavy topics tonight, and you did a beautiful job. And thank you for how well you delivered both messages, and appreciate the honesty, the transparency. I think that you led very well with both of those topics tonight. And as far as the snow, be safe, stay warm, have lots of candles, fully wrap them up with water, you just never know.
Yeah.
And thank you all for being here.
So, this Brumfield made me some 3D printouts of a bulldog and a panther that I hope to stay here for our meetings. And Ms. Miller, you've probably lost some sleep this year, but you're getting into the details of it where we have a better understanding now than we had before. I think even before any budget we've ever had, kind of everything goes into it. And what I'd ask for y'all as a cabinet, think about, when do you want to go to the supervisors about the CIP that's above and beyond the 263? Because I think the sooner you do that, we do that, the better off we're going to be. And I'm going to call on my board members here, contact your supervisor and talk about that. As a matter of fact, I'll take the clip of the meeting and put the time in it and send it to y'all. Y'all just send it to them. Say, hey, look at this from this here. This will give you an update of what's going on.
Yeah.
As far as addressing the leadership up here, we're down a person, and you guys haven't missed a beat. And we're moving forward with things. So that's to be thankful for steady leadership in that. Thank you for Ron for your comments and everything. And I think we're still going to have our steak dinner up at Page County High School. If you get us a date, we'll start promoting that.
May 9th.
May 9th. All right.
Which is also Blu-ray's prom. I'm just warning you.
So those steaks are good. So it's been a good meeting. Welcome, Mr. Breeden. I'm glad you're with us now, and the experience you bring with it, and you'll have new learnings too, as some experience, what age it was and how it is now, and how it's all going to come together. I think it's going to come together well. And I've never seen a board member stand up when he gives a presentation, but that's kind of neat. Yeah, it's very, very neat. So thank everybody, and everybody be safe with the snow. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All right. Motion by Ms. Royfield and second by Mr. Boswell.
Mr. Bud.
Yes.
Mr. Breed.
Yeah.
Mr. Overbaugh.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
You are adjourned.